Bitter criticism. Reading Russia Today. Russia Today right till the end. Russia Today, the agency of the world. Whatever happens, Russia is doing it. You know, this is a problem of layout here in Russia Today website. Look, there's always breaking news. That says Berlin warns against playing Russian roulette over Kiev aid. Russia-Ukraine conflict. I guess that's it. There's no news. Actually, it's just breaking Twitter. A breaking tweet actually. There's terrorists again in Syria. Let's read it. So, terrorists in Syria again. December 1st, 2024. What are terrorists in Syria trying to achieve? The attacks on Aleppo and Idlib could be an attempt to break the axis of resistance against Israel and even revive the 2011 revolution. Eva Bartlett is a Canadian independent journalist. She has spent years on the ground covering conflict zones in the Middle East, especially in Syria and Palestine, where she lived for nearly 4 years. I'm just going to send just going to say something. And says Eva Bartlett on Twitter also. There's a photograph. Photograph showcased armed groups opposing is Syrian President Bashar al-Assad regime seized control of much of Aleppo city center in Syria on November 30, 2024. For the past few days, foreign-backed terrorists in Syria's northwest have been attacking Syrian army positions in the Aleppo and Idlib countryside and shielding civilian districts of Aleppo. While regional media have been giving updates on these attacks and counterattacks by Syria and Russia, what is less clear is what is happening in Aleppo itself. Terrorist-aligned media claim Tahrir al-Sham, Al-Qaeda rebranded, and allied terrorists have taken numerous western districts and even the city center. But their proof show videos showing terrorists in various areas they claim to control was countered by videos of Syrians walking in key districts saying things are calm. More on this later. The following is what is known in summary about the attacks. On Wednesday, November 27, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and Turkish-backed National Army factions launched attacks in the Idlib and Aleppo countryside in what they dubbed Operation Deterrence of Aggression. According to Al-Mayadeen, as released by Syrian journalist Washin Issa, convoys of militants, equipment and ammunition entered from the Bab al-Salam crossing with Turkey and headed to the fighting fronts in the western Aleppo and southern Idlib countryside. Al-Mayadeen reported Tahrir al-Sham used new weapons and equipment, including Ukrainian drones, reportedly acquired from Kiev's intelligence services. Since Thursday evening, terrorists have been shelling Aleppo University dormitories, as well as districts of western Aleppo. On Friday, terrorist shelling killed 4 students and injured dozens. By Friday, the Syrian Arab Army had retaken many points breached by terrorists. Al-Mayadeen reported, noting that intense fighting continues on 2 fronts in rural Aleppo, and that on the Idlib front. Quote, armed groups are attempting to open a new axis after their failure to advance further toward the M5 international highway for all traffic from the south to Aleppo through Hama and CE Idlib. Unquote. The General Command of the Army and Armed Forces issued the following statement, quote, Our armed forces were able to inflict heavy losses on the attacking organizations, inflicting hundreds of dead and wounded among their ranks, destroying dozens of vehicles and not armored vehicles, and were able to shoot down and destroy 17 drones. In a released context, terrorist organizations, through their platforms, publish misleading information, news, and video clips aimed at terrorizing citizens. The General Command of the Army and Armed Forces warns our fellow citizens not to accept this news and misinformation and to receive what is issued for the national media and its official platforms, unquote. As of late Friday, sitting the Russian Coordination Center in Syria, Al-Mayadeen reported that more than 600 terrorists had been killed. This update went on to detail Syrian and Russian airstrikes on terrorists in the northern Aleppo and Idlib countryside. These attacks, apparently supported by Turkey, the US, and Israel, mark the latest effort to destabilize Syria and weaken the axis of resistance against Israel. It is, of course, notable that these attacks commenced just after the so-called ceasefire between the Lebanese resistance Hezbollah and Israel, which began violating the ceasefire almost immediately, as Israel has done with virtually every ceasefire in the past. One possible reason for Turkey's involvement could be to pressure Syrian President Bashar al-Assad into reconsidering his stance on normalization talks with Ankara. Assad previously rejected any such talks, while Turkish forces remain in Syria, and according to some analysts, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan could have helped escalate military action to coerce Assad to change his mind. Another motivation for the attack could be to cut Lebanese Hezbollah off from supply lines during the ceasefire with Israel. From Damascus, British journalist Vanessa Billy wrote, quote, this attack has been spoken about and planned for since the beginning of the Israeli aggression against Lebanon. And I'm going down the bus now. I'm going off the bus.